G'day Tato, welcome back to the Wargaming Den. This week's game of Kings of War sees my Orcs once again taking on Gordon's Twilight kin. Again, it's 2,300 points. This week, the mission we rolled up is Dominate. Let's have a look at my Orc list this week. A wee bit of a change from last time. It's always changes, as you probably guessed by now. A long X troop, a long X regiment with the Blessing of the Gods, I've downgraded from the Brew of Sharpness, 2 more X regiments, a Troll Horde with Jesse's Boots, 2 Gore Rider regiments, 2 War Drums with Dread, 2 God Speakers with Drain Life, 2 Crutches on Gores, one's got the Slashing Blade, the other's the Mournful Blade, one to be able to use that Duelist ability, a Troll Bruiser, and the Crudger on the Winged Slasher with the Mace of Crushing, 15 units, 25 units strength. And here we have Gordon's list for this week. A wee few changes. He's still got the 3 Phantom Troops and the 2 Butcher Hordes and the 2 Impaler Hordes. And the Mind Screech, he's still got the Gore Drakes. One change has been he's added the Navigator with the Shroud of the Saint, which gives it some more heal. 2 similar Crones, each of them have got Wind Blast and Weakness. I haven't faced Weakness before, but it was quite a useful spell really. And finally he's got the Void Lurker, which gives him 14 units and 22 units strength. Let's have a look at deployment for this week. Now, the one thing I'm not sure about, that's either a Crone or a Navigator. And that's either a Crone or a Navigator. Not sure which way round they went. But Gordon's gone wide on both flanks here. This is a good deployment for anyone that's got flyers. He's got Phantoms in the front as chaff. Then he's got his heavy hitters, the Gore Drakes, behind. He's done that here. He's also done it over here with the other Gore Drake and the Phantoms in the middle, and he's done it out wide this side with the Void Lurker and the Phantoms. So those are 3 really good effective combat units. Then he's got a good strong centre. He's got his 2 units of Impalers behind the Crones or Navigator. He's got the Mind Screech back there, Butchers, and one of the Crones between them on this side. So that centre is really strong. The mission we're playing, by the way, is Dominate. So it's getting within 12 inches of this centre circle at the end of the game. I got to decide which table side I was going to take for this one. I chose this one just so I could try and secure my flank with this building, try and have a defensive line. I decided not to worry about my flanks so much. I thought I was going to be out maneuver by all those flyers, so try and keep it solid. But really, maybe I should have actually secured my line against the edge of the table that way instead. It was a bit of a witch do it. But what I was trying to do this time was have some depth to my deployment, because those flyers could come in and the Phantoms fly 20 inches over my troop. So I really didn't want to get too stretched out. So this was going to be a good test against multiple flying units. I don't think Gordon used them too effectively last week, or as effectively as he could, but this week he's gone for a really strong deployment here. I've got my Trolls securing my flank. They're in the rough going. They've got Jesse's Boots as always, got a Bruiser with them. Long Axe troop in front of some freshly painted Morax, got a Crudger and a War Drum nearby. I've changed the axe, decided that actually a horde of long axes may be just a wee bit more flexible, especially against flyers and cavalry and stuff for the centre. I've got a couple of God Speakers down here. Then I've got the other Morax, I think that is, with the War Drum in behind. Gore Riders out wide, more Gore Riders in behind, and a Crudger there to support as well. So I went for 2 Crudgers again this week. Let's get on to turn 1, shall we? Gordon's turn 1, wavered the God Speaker with a Mind Fog and weakness on my Trolls. No wounds though. So he's got me flanked along here, as we can see, right along there. And he's got his flying circus there, more flying things here,
And wait, what? But wait, there's more. More phantoms and flying things over here. So tonight he is going to be working the flanks.
And what did I do in response? I secured my flank against this building, but there was a Gore Drake here that I think could just see him, and would have been able, no, could have just seen him and would have been able to get a flank attack if Gordon wanted to take it. Just got to be really careful about how I line these up. I've just left a little opportunity. The Crudger went out in front, so anyone charging him is going to get countercharged. He could kill him and charge on through, but that's a risk I was prepared to take. Godspeaker was wavered, and I really was just trying to line up my forces mainly on a line across here, but then I was having to turn because those phantoms were trying to work around my flank. They were going to be a real pain on both sides this game.
Gordon's turn 2. The noose is tightening, constricting the poor little Orcsies. Weakness cast on my Crudger and weakness cast on Lefty. These tormentors, phantoms, whatever they are wanting to race down the flank. They're out of my charge arcs and things. And there's flyers for Africa. So on to my turn 2.
And just before we do that, let's have a look at that turn of Gordon's in a wee bit more detail. So he's threatening my flanks. The phantoms have moved out of line of sight here. The impalers are moving forward. This is the really critical thing though here. See all these different angles? It's kind of in a semicircle. What that means is, say I charge there with my Morax, don't know if they can charge that far, but bear with me, means that the Crudger might be able to get in, but he's really limiting the number of multi-charges. He's given me lots of options. Sure, there's 4 different units here, the Phantoms or the Butchers, but whichever option I take, I'm going to be hit from the flank. So this is a really well set trap for me. That am I prepared to wait it out, or will I charge headlong as I usually do into it? We will see in a minute.
These flyers are doing my head in. I killed the phantoms. Yes, I shouldn't have attacked. Yes, I'm being flanked by, I thought it was a Gore Drake, but it's a Void Lurker. Otherwise, I was going to be flanked by those guys. He could double one it. And I did 1 wound against those phantoms. Too many flyers to deal with for my poor little brain at this stage of the battle, but on to Gordon's turn number 3.
So as you can see, I kind of took a wee bit of the bait. I threw in the Morax against the Phantoms there, 175 points versus 100, killed them, and also I threw the Crudger in against these Phantoms here rather than the Butchers. And the reason was for doing that is I wanted to ground those flyers. That green dot there and there means that I'm suffering from weakness though. So it was all about making sure that they couldn't just charge over the top here with a 20-inch move and turn around and get into my rear. And I'm still trying to just turn to face those Gore Drake and wherever those other phantoms have disappeared to it. They must be down here. I think they were way down here just out of my charge arc or something crazy. And yes, the Morax killed the phantoms, but as you can see here, the Void Lurker now has a nice flank on them. It was a flank against the Void Lurker, a flank against multiple Butchers. I decided to go this way. And the Crudger put 1 massive wound on the phantoms, but 1's all I needed to slow them down a wee bit. So on to Gordon's turn.
Okay, Gordon's turn 3. He did the weakness spell on those guys, weakness spell on those guys, killed the war drum, killed the Orcs. I was expecting them to die, and unfortunately wavered the Crudger because there was no nearby war drum anymore. So took a few losses. This guy's in the flank and my wing slasher can't attack him, and he's set himself up for a nice flank attacks there. So let's see what I can do in response. My turn 3, we finally remembered I did 4 wounds there. My lefty got the phantoms thanks to the remembering the dread at the very last minute. Over here, the impalers, I did 4 wounds from the front because I had weakness, but luckily these guys charged in from the flank, and the flank attack took him out. And over here, I did 10 wounds on those butchers, but they've got fury, so they're going to be coming back at me. There's flank all over the place for Gordon. Moving on to his turn 4.
Now it's starting to look more like one of our battles with things all over the place. Not sure why the Gore Riders are facing the wrong way here. They must have charged forward after a combat. They're still turning to try and deal with the Phantoms. Weakness over here. Troll Bruiser supporting them, and its lefty took care of those Phantoms. This was a good attack, but unfortunately with Fury those butchers are going to come back. They're going to come back with allies there, and potentially the Void Lurker should be able to charge in here and make that a triple multi-charge using the charge rules to slide across, I would think. So yes, it's becoming a wee bit of a mess, but we're trying to do our best to hold off all these flyers.
Okay, Gordon's hammer time. He did 7 wounds on the Crudger, 1 short of wavering him. He killed the Troll Bruiser with his impalers. Only did 1 wound on lefty over here. He killed the Gore Riders over here and did some reforms. He wavered these Gore Riders, 10 wounds, rolled a 4, I think. And unfortunately rolled a 10 with his nerve check against my long spear and wavered them. So that was a bit unfortunate. So on to my turn 4.
And just before we move on to my turn 4, here's a bit of the overview. So here you can see the Crudgers trying to slow down those Phantoms, deal with them, and the Gore Drake is charged in as well. This was really unfortunate. 10 on the nerve check here. I guess that was from spells. I can't see what else might have done that. And the Gore Riders in the flank from the Void Lurkers there, and the other Gore Riders. They weren't going to survive all those butchers and things. And I think my God Speaker's in a bit of trouble too. So yeah, on to my turn.
Orcs are hanging in there. The Crudger did 2 wounds and grounded the Gore Drake, I think they're called. A couple of wounds against the Impalers with the long spear. Go the long spear. Lefty did the moonwalk, went backwards out of range, and that led the Morax and the War Drum. War Drum got 2 hits and 2 wounds against the other Gore Drake, and it's on 10 wounds now. The Crudger with the Mournful Blade killed a spellcaster, and then I think it was a crone, carried on into the Mind Screecher and wavered that. Couldn't do anything over here. I did a couple of wounds against the butchers with the drain lives, but Gordon's going to probably take those off. Wasn't able to do anything here though, and there's a nice flank attack, and these guys I couldn't do anything about. So on to Gordon's turn 5. I'm not completely dead. Hooray!
Things are not totally going Gordon's way. So there's still the carnage over here, but the trolls are now facing the right direction at last. Hooray! And over here, the long axe trooper just trying to hold up the impalers. They've got front armor 6. They've got big shields. I've got no strength because of weakness, so that doesn't help. But I did, yeah, some damage over here thanks to the moonwalk from Lefty, and the Crudger with the Mournful Blade now is just running around chopping everything he can with triple attacks, which is quite heartening. But there's still a lot of unit strength of Gordon's in here, and I'm rapidly running out of unit strength. We'll see how his next turn works out.
Gordon's pulling out the stops. This guy killed my Crudger at the end of the turn. The Phantoms and the Gore Drake killed my Spear, mainly thanks to the Phantoms. We all saw that. The Butchers charged and killed both God Speakers, and the other Butchers killed the Gore Riders and then turned to reform. So, and over here the Impalers killed the Long Spear troop. So I haven't got a great deal left, but we will see what we can do on our turn 5. Bottom of 5, Trolls killed the Gore Drake thing. Orcs killed the other Gore Drake thing over there. Lefty killed the Phantoms. He wanted to get in the flank over there. So my Orcs are contesting, but they're about to be sandwiched by potentially 2 Butchers, a Gore Drake, and possibly an Impaler. So Gordon's got the unit strength as we head into turn 6, but it's not all one-way traffic. It's been a very enjoyable game so far.
Crikey, the battlefield is looking a lot less full than it did not so long ago. So the Trolls have turned to face. They're way out of position though. They're not going to get over here to the 12-inch circle. Not a hope. So I'm left with the Morax, 3 unit strength, and Lefty, 2 unit strength, and a War Drum with 1 unit strength, but the War Drum may be facing the rear to those Butchers, and they may have a flank attack on them as well. So Gordon's got a lot of unit strength here. I am down, but not quite out. I have cleaned up most of those spellcasters though, so that was very heartening. Now, heading into turn 6, Gordon's got 3 minutes, 24 seconds. I've got 18 minutes, 39. So I got plenty of time and no units. Gordon's going to have to, well, he hasn't got too much to do, so he should make it okay. But maybe I need to hope for a miracle. It takes him 3 minutes, 24 to move a single unit. We will see.
Gordon's turn 6. At the end, he's nearly out of clock as he killed the what are they? The Morax. He did a wound on the War Drum. He did 6 wounds on Lefty. So unit strength in the middle area, he's got a lot. He's got 3, 6, 8, 9, 11, 12 maybe, and I've potentially got 2, maybe 3. So I'm going to have to be very, very clever. 8 wounds from Lefty, 1 short of wavering, but they've got Fury. No wounds from the War Drum. First time he's missed in a while, and I did maybe 3 wounds with the Crudger. So that was the end of turn 6.
Oh, yeah.
I've got to see if there's an extra dice. No, there's not.
Right, there we have it. Victory to the Twilight Kin. Rather comprehensive in the end, but that was one of the most enjoyable games we've had in a long time. I was always up against it with so many flyers, and especially Gordon working both flanks at once. Up to now, I've deployed the Gore Riders out on a flank. Today I wanted to try them in a bit closer and wanted to try and keep my force a lot closer so that the flyers couldn't get over the back. The Trolls were out of position a bit, and those Phantoms just kind of forced them to keep turning and meant that they weren't able to get back to where they needed to in any way, shape or form, which was a bit unfortunate. So I've got to be aware of that going forward. But otherwise, I was happy with the way my army performed against such a nimble, flyer-heavy army, really. Took a lot of lessons away from that one, and I hope to be able to put some of them into practice for our game next week. So that's all for now. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed that. Thoroughly enjoyed it, as I said, and look forward to another game against Gordon in the very near future. But until next time, ka kite anō. Take care. Have a good week.